Hey everybody, CS6 Guy 2005 here, and on today's video, will be Rail Corridors in the U.S. Episode 2, Southeast. So, let's get into the first slide. Okay, so this is Amtrak's 2035 map, and this is really ambitious. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff. Too much to talk about in one video, so I'm going to start with the South, and then do the Northeast and the Midwest, because there's already a few things that need to be discussed there, and there's not really much in the Northeast. I mean, there's some little bit things, but not really. So yeah, let's get into this. So I might talk on and on about how the decline of railroads and all that stuff, but I don't really care about that. So yeah, the Southeast. So I'm going to start with something that is very close to home to me, because it is the Charlotte to Atlanta high-speed rail corridor. I live outside of Charlotte in a town that I won't say, even though it's not that tiny, it's still big enough, but I don't want to disclose my real town. But I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, and someday I might want to go to Atlanta. I just finished my driving test, not my real test, to get my license, just after class. But I wouldn't want to drive to Atlanta because the traffic is horrendous sometimes, and as this area along I-85 continues to grow, there's going to be even more and more traffic that people don't even want to get on I-85 anymore. They're going to start using other routes. So that's where the rail corridor comes in, because it's 274 miles by car and 4 hours by car on a good day. And a plane, I'm not sure how long it is, probably 30 minutes, which that's a waste of money, basically. Because you go up in the air, and then you stay up for what seems like a moment, and then you come down. And then you come down and see Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. But still. So this is in the bottom corner. So the bottom part. Oh. The bottom corner. Sorry. The bottom left corner is the proposed route. It was recently announced. I saw an article. So it's been talked about on the news lately, because my dad, we haven't watched the news because there's a lot of politics in the news, and I don't know why this has to get in with politics, but I'm not going to try to get into too much politics because I don't really like it. Yeah, so there were 3 routes. So sorry, I'm distracted. So the first route, which is not on here, would have used Norfolk Southern's Atlanta to Charlotte subdivision, which is the line that Amtrak's Crescent takes, which is a long-distance train that runs from New York to New Orleans. It's named the Crescent, named the Crescent City. Yeah, which that would have taken 4.5 to 5 hours, which that would not be profitable. And then the second route would have used along I-85 with a lot of stops, and it would take still 3.5 to 4 hours, which is the same distance. But the route in green, only has a few stops. And they said last year, in 2019, when I saw this thing a couple months ago, The green route would be the most expensive, but would be the shortest route. And then they said it would cost $13 to $15 billion, but this says, I read the article, $6 to $8 billion. Now, that's the thing. Are they going for something like Brightline is using, or Brightline East, or Brightline in Florida, using the Siemens SC44 chargers and not using fully electrified? That depends. I'm not sure what they're going to do, but that's probably going to be for 2030 before this finishes construction. That's like the Silver Line in Charlotte for light rail. It's not going to be finished by 2037, which I might not be living here. I might not be living here to see that complete, but I'll come back many times. Oops, I just said that. My parents haven't even heard of this YouTube channel. Alright, let's get back on topic. There's something I don't want to do is get off topic. Yeah, as you can see, the stops would be at the Charlotte Gateway Station, which, as you can see, is in the top right corner. It is a modern station, thankfully. And I'm going to explain this in the next slide on this presentation. That about the stations of North Carolina that have been sadly taken away from us. Yeah, so and the next stop would be at the Charlotte Douglas International Airport, which is a good stop. Now, for some strange reason, if this line is completed first with the Silver Line, it would be smart to take the train from the airport to downtown. Now, when the light rail comes around, taking that would be pretty useless. And then, so, as you can see, this diamond in the legend is proposed station location. So, like South Gastonia and Sewanee, that is, in Athens, Anderson, and Lawrenceville, Tucker, and Bourville might be taken off. Yeah, but there are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 stops, and that is the proposed Atlanta approach. You see the thin green line. And it would finally end at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, which you can see at the bottom. Now, let's explain my home state, because Amtrak is going pretty good. Hopefully, maybe they can do more things with the North Carolina Department of Transportation, because they already have partnered with the state of North Carolina with North Carolina funding the Piedmont service between Charlotte and Raleigh, and the Carolina between New York City and Charlotte. So let's go on with that. As you can see, there are lines connecting Charlotte and Atlanta. I'm not sure why they're doing that, because it's already been proposed. They are hopefully going to upgrade the line between Charlotte and Raleigh, which that line is, I can't remember if it's owned by the state or Norfolk Southern. I can't remember. Yeah. So new line would be between Raleigh and Wilmington, and Salisbury and Asheville. Now the question is, Wilmington, you can follow where the tracks used to be for the station or the depot that was owned by the Seaboard Coastline, the Seaboard Airline, or the Seaboard System. I can't remember which. The Seaboard Coastline, because they both of them merged to create the Seaboard Coastline, and then they merged with Chessie System to create CSX. So, yeah, you can still see the old depot with a very nice steam engine. Yeah, but Asheville, there's no trace of the station, which you can see at the top right corner. That is the old Southern Railway Station, and I can't remember when it was built, so sorry about that. But unfortunately, That and the old Charlotte station, which you can see a lot of that has been torn down. And the Charlotte station was built in 1907 using Mediterranean style architecture, which I'm not sure what that. I've never seen Mediterranean architecture, so or style, American style, I'm not sure. And it complemented the station across the street, which was owned by the Seaboard Coast Line. But unfortunately, the station was closed in the 1960s and replaced by the current station, which is now thankfully being replaced with the new Gateway station. The reason is because with Amtrak and NC-DOT actually owns the locomotives and the rolling stock, the passenger cars, the locomotives of the Piedmont service. With that hopefully being increased, I think it's 6 times a day. So 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, or 3 in the morning, or 6 throughout the day between Charlotte and Raleigh and back. Yes, and hopefully that will increase, but the increased traffic means that more people will continue to ride. Because it's 4 hours from here to Raleigh, and that's about a distance of 173 miles. It's about, I'm not sure. I forgot about that. No, it is 4 hours. And hold on, let me check my facts. Hold on. So I'm back. So exactly is from Charlotte to Raleigh. It's 2 hours and 30 minutes and 165 miles. And bus, it's 4 hours. Which no one takes the bus long distances because they're, well, some people it's gross, some people it's cramped, or the train is 3 hours. Yeah, 3 hours. So one says 2 hours and 45 minutes, but yeah. But hopefully that will increase, and hopefully upgrading the track means for higher speed, maybe, because the tracks are still wooden ties, which you would think they would upgrade the line out of the concrete ties and welded rail, because even though mine is owned by Norfolk Southern, it's apparently owned by the North Carolina Railroad, which is some kind of state-owned thing. But if somebody knows who actually owns this line and knows more about this line, please tell me. So yeah, so they would have to make serious track upgrades and new stations in Wilmington and Nashville. And there's also service between Raleigh and Richmond, which this is going to be a whole southeast corridor. So, yesterday, or for me yesterday, for you, 2 days ago, Saturday, I was talking with my roomie about all of this, and then I just stumbled upon the southeast corridor, which I forgot to put this in here. So basically, it's going to connect Washington, D.C. with the Amtrak's electrified Northeast Corridor from Richmond to Raleigh, Charlotte to Atlanta. And there's also a map that said it would end in Jacksonville. I'm actually going to show that map right now. Okay, I'm back with a photo, or a picture, sorry, I just ran up the stairs, of the Southeast High-Speed Rail Corridor. And this is by the FRA, the Federal Railroad Administration. As you can see, everything would start in Washington, D.C., to Richmond, and split off to Hampton Roads, and then split off again to Raleigh, Durham, Greensboro, Charlotte, Greenville, Atlanta, Macon, and then the other side would go from Raleigh to Columbia, Savannah, and then everything ending in Jacksonville, Florida, which I feel like that's really ambitious. So, yeah. And the old Charlotte train station, I think it really looks beautiful, but unfortunately it was torn down. But thankfully they're building the station on this like whole gateway district, which is like a whole district between 4th or 3rd and 9th Street, which most of that is parking lot, except for like an old Greyhound bus station, which I think they'll move everything to the gateway station. So it'll be the bus, the Gold Line streetcar, the Silver Line light rail, and then Amtrak intercity and long distance trains. So yeah, that's gonna be in the future high speed rail from Charlotte to Atlanta and the cities around. So okay, let's go on to Atlanta. So this makes me sad because Atlanta used to be a major hub for railroads, as you can see by this picture of all these tracks. So on the top left corner, or on the top left side of the railhead picture, I have the Atlanta Terminal Station, which I forgot when it was built. Sorry about that, but it looks pretty big. And then on the right of that is the Atlanta Union Station, built in 1871. Unfortunately, like I said about the Charlotte train station, both of these were torn down, and now Atlanta is only served by one train, which a city as big as Atlanta, it should not be served by one train. It should be served by multiple trains, which I think still are plans to build a intermodal station, kind of like what Charlotte's doing, but I haven't really heard about that. I've seen pictures of it, I've seen plans, which are kind of confusing, so they're kind of confusing because everything's like stacked on each other, like a whole like new district, a little section of it, like parks, or a little park, and businesses and restaurants, and then the rail on the bottom, which there are tracks that still run through Atlanta. They're on my Norfolk Southern, but yeah, so we have Atlanta to Chattanooga to Nashville, sorry, and as I said, Charlotte, Greenville, Atlanta, Birmingham, and then Atlanta to Auburn to Montgomery, Alabama, and then Atlanta, Macon to Savannah. So yeah, and some like Nashville, Chattanooga. Nashville does have the Music City Star, which is for I don't know how it is. It doesn't look good because they're using Amtrak F40PHs, which are, I'm not sure if they're have been rebuilt or not in the gallery coaches, but Birmingham is served by Crescent. Auburn and Montgomery have not been served by transit. Savannah is served by the Silver Service, and then the Palmetto, which whereas it used to end in Miami, which I can see why, because there's already 2 trains that stop in Miami. Why would you need a third one that basically takes the same route? So it was cut to Savannah. And then Macon hasn't seen a train in years either. Yeah, but the thing is that in Charlotte and most of the cities before and after that, the only way to get to Atlanta is by the Crescent stops in Charlotte at 2 o'clock in the morning, which for me, I wouldn't do that. No, I wouldn't get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I would rather leave at like 8 a.m. and then be in Atlanta around 10, taking the high-speed train instead of getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning, taking the slower long-distance train. Yeah, so basically, yeah, let's get on to the Gulf Coast, shall we? So, Brightline, Florida Panhandle, Texas Central. So, yeah, so as you can see, Brightline, or as you've known, Brightline is extending to Orlando, but this will use the current route for the Silver Service, Silver Meteor, Silver Star, which Amtrak, I think this is good, because Amtrak would serve the inland communities in Central Florida and Northern Florida, and then Brightline would serve the communities along the coast, which I think that would be really good. Because Amtrak would make all the stops, Brightline would make a couple stops. Yeah. But I wish Amtrak would continue service in the Florida Panhandle, because some of these towns are still maintaining their stations until the day that Amtrak returns service. And you can still find old platforms and stations, like in Mobile, there's some of the old station, and then between Gulfport and Biloxi, you can kind of see what used to be a station. There's a building, and there's a platform. And then you can see the same thing in Pascagoula, and then Pensacola. Their station is being used by a hotel, which I guess is nice. And then many of these other towns are not have not been served. So the Sunset Limited was cut back in 2005 due to damaged track like tree, which the CSX tracks, they run almost right up against, especially after they leave New Orleans, they run right up against the water. And I can see why. So, but there are services planned between Baton Rouge and Mobile, which I guess is good. But I'm not sure what Amtrak is doing with Dallas to Houston, because there's already plans for Texas Central now. Fort Worth to Austin and San Antonio, and San Antonio to Houston, or San Antonio to Dallas, I should say, because Dallas to Fort Worth is already being served by raill, which is the commuter service serving the two cities and the metropolitan area between. And these presentations are going to be normally about 20 to 30 minutes. They talk really long, so this is really good. And right again, so in conclusion, I think Amtrak is doing good for the Southeast, because some of these towns, there's a lot of people that are too old to drive, or they can't drive, or they just don't want to drive, or other reasons where they can't drive, or they don't want to fly because it's too expensive or too high, or it's too much to handle, which I can see that. But that's the only option to fly long distances now. To fly short distances is to drive, because flying is too expensive and a waste of money flying short distances. But yeah, so what's next week's video going to be? So next week, I'm still trying to figure out, I'm still doing research on 10 places every rail fan in the US should go to. I have already 10 places listed out. I need to memorize the history and little bits of information about it, because I can't just say, like, oh, this is, because of all these 10 places, I've been to 0 of them. But hopefully, as time goes by, I'll get more and more off the list, and then I'll be able to review them, which I'm not part of a, trains Discord, even though I do want to be on one. And if somebody knows a good Discord, or if you have a trains, not like the trains with the Z, even though that would be really cool to talk about, even though I don't play it, even though it looks good. It looks complicated, but it looks fun, right? I'm talking about trains with the S. Yeah, and trains is quarter, it talks about trains and all that stuff. I would love to be a part of that. So, if you know somebody who has a trains Discord you're a part of, and or if you have one yourself, please send me the link. If not, you can just tell me what it is and I can look it up or something. I'm not sure. Yeah, and I'll see you. Alright, so like always, like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell anybody you see, basically. Tell anybody you see, and I'll see you. And I'll see you down the tracks. Goodbye. Bye bye.